Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Nama saya Dalan Mehuli Perangin Angin. Saya seorang dosen di program studi S1 Sastra Inggris di Universitas Sanata Dharma, Yogyakarta. Bidang ilmu yang saya tekuni adalah linguistik. Di program studi ini, saya mengajar beberapa mata kuliah linguistik, yaitu Syntax, English Grammar 1, and English Grammar 2, Introductions to Research in Linguistics, Language Research Methodology, Social Linguistics, dan Morphofonology. Dalam video ini, saya akan menjelaskan deskripsi dan pengelolaan mata kuliah Syntax, salah satu mata kuliah yang saya ampu, yang paling saya gemari. Pengenalan ini akan mencakup 3 aspek, yaitu delivery atau penyampaian, interaction atau interaksi dengan mahasiswa, dan assessment, sistem penilaian. Mata kuliah Syntax wajib diambil oleh semua mahasiswa di program studi kami. Prasyaratnya adalah mahasiswa yang sudah lulus di mata kuliah English Grammar 1 dan English Grammar 2. Mereka dianggap sudah memiliki kemampuan berbahasa Inggris dengan dasar tata bahasa atau grammar yang baik. Dalam mata kuliah ini, mereka dituntut untuk mampu menciptakan frasa dan kalimat bahasa Inggris yang bergramatika tepat, dan dengan tepat pula mengkategorikan bagian-bagian yang didasarkan pada fungsi sintaksis masing-masingnya. Mata kuliah ini berbobot 3 SKS dan ditawarkan untuk mahasiswa semester 5. Mata kuliah ini dirancang khusus untuk mahasiswa memahami prinsip-prinsip struktur frasa dan struktur kalimat bahasa Inggris. Mahasiswa di sini akan mampu memahami konsep-konsep dasar sintaks, yaitu pertama adalah argument structure, dependency theory yang menjelaskan hubungan antara head dan modifier, 5 macam struktur frasa, yaitu noun phrase atau frasa nomina, adjective phrase atau frasa sifat, adverbial phrase atau frasa keterangan, verb phrase atau frasa kerja, dan prepositional phrase atau frasa kata depan. Dan yang terakhir adalah constituency theory, yaitu constituent di sini adalah merujuk pada elemen-elemen yang ada dalam sebuah frasa atau kalimat. Dalam bagian delivery perkuliahan pada video ini, saya dan mahasiswa akan mendiskusikan tentang konsep constituency dan dependency theory. Pada akhir perkuliahan mata kuliah Syntax, berdasarkan hasil kompetensinya, mahasiswa pertama bisa mengidentifikasikan argumen-argumen dalam kalimat, menganalisa constituents dalam kalimat maupun frasa, dan yang terakhir adalah menganalisa struktur internal frasa dan juga kalimat. Di samping itu, mahasiswa juga berpikir secara kritis, khususnya berhubungan dengan struktur kalimat ataupun frasa-frasa yang ditemuinya dalam bacaan buku teks pelajaran maupun bacaan bahasa Inggris lainnya. Topik-topik dalam mata kuliah Syntax dirancang untuk ditempuh dalam 16 pekan, termasuk 2 kali ujian, yaitu mid semester dan ujian akhir. Materi pelajaran meliputi beberapa topik pilihan, yaitu yang pertama adalah Foundation of Syntax, Basic Sentence Patterns atau pola-pola kalimat dalam bahasa Inggris yang paling sederhana, dan juga Argument Analysis, Thematic Roles, yaitu interaksi sintaks dengan semantics, Constituency dan Structural Ambiguity, Lexical and Phrasal Categories, Syntactic Dependency, dan beberapa macam jenis frasa. Kita akan melihat verb phrase structure, noun phrase structure, prepositional phrase structure, dan adjective and adverbial phrase structure. Dalam kelas ini, mahasiswa juga dituntut untuk dapat membuat diagram pohon sintaksis, yaitu diagram yang menggambarkan hubungan antara satu konstituen dengan yang lainnya dalam frasa maupun kalimat. Dalam pembuatan diagram pohon di latihan maupun ujian, mahasiswa akan menggunakan Syntax Tree Generator, yaitu aplikasi yang dapat diunduh atau ditemukan di internet tanpa biaya. Referensi yang digunakan dalam kelas ini ada beberapa, yaitu dua yang terutama adalah buku Syntax Generative Introductions oleh Andrew Carney dan Analyzing Sentences and Introductions to English Syntax oleh Barton Roberts. Di samping itu juga ada tambahan, yaitu Syntax Structure, Meaning, and Functions dan Syntax Semantic Interface oleh Van Valen. Tapi ini buku yang agak advance, jadi hanya jika mereka membutuhkan. Samping itu juga kami menggunakan buku Discourse Syntax oleh Dorgelow and Warner and English Syntax oleh Edelstein. Sistem pembelajaran dan model perkuliahan yang saya gunakan dalam mengampu mata kuliah Syntax semenjak pandemi COVID adalah tatap muka di kelas dengan memaksimalkan penggunaan Learning Management System atau LMS, yaitu belajar.usd.ac.id. Perkuliahan diadakan seminggu sekali selama 3 jam di ruang kelas di kampus Gedung Sastra Universitas Sanata Dharma. Perkuliahan Syntax disampaikan dengan metode yang bervariasi seperti ceramah, belajar mandiri, group presentation, group discussion, dialog interaktif yang memperkuat critical thinking mahasiswa, yaitu memberi peluang sebesar-besarnya untuk mereka bertanya dan menyampaikan pendapat atau merespon pertanyaan mahasiswa lain. Di dalam kelas, mahasiswa juga mengerjakan latihan soal secara individu maupun kelompok. Setiap akhir perkuliahan, mahasiswa selalu diberi tugas, yaitu mengerjakan soal-soal yang berhubungan dengan materi yang baru saja diberikan dan materi untuk persiapan pada kelas berikutnya. Sistem penilaian kelas ini meliputi latihan dan kuis yang berbobot 20%, presentasi dalam kelompok yang membahas satu dari topik-topik di kelas, 15%, 2 progress test sebelum midterm dan sesudah, 15%, dan ujian tengah semester 25%, dan ujian akhir juga 25%. Berikut adalah rubrik evaluasi yang digunakan untuk memberi penilaian pada ujian tengah semester maupun akhir. Ada 5 kategori nilai, yaitu 80-100 excellent, 70-79 satisfactory, 60-69 sufficient, 50-59 insufficient, dan 0-49 below standard. Penilaian ini didasarkan pada seberapa meyakinkan penjelasan yang diberikan pada masing-masing pertanyaan. Masing-masing penjelasan diharapkan juga disertai dengan ide-ide penunjang, termasuk contoh, kutipan, dan penggunaan istilah yang tepat. Selanjutnya, mari kita simak rekaman perkuliahan yang direkam dalam mode online. Selamat menyaksikan. Hello everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, welcome to our syntax class. So this time we are going to discuss about syntactic dependency, okay? And so the objectives of the class are to understand the structure of sentences, okay? And then to know what the constituents are, we will discuss what are constituents, basically are parts of sentences, okay? And then to know categories and functions of those constituents, and finally to know syntactic functions and about how functions relate to categories and constituents, okay? When I'm talking, feel free to raise hand and ask questions if you have, okay? So when we are talking about structure, so we have to have in mind that the structure are divisible into parts that we call constituents. In syntax, we call parts of a structure or a thing as constituents, okay? And there are different kind of parts. It depends on the categories of the constituents and they are specifiable. They are specifiable, that the parts are specifiable. They are able to be specified. And then D, that its constituent has a certain specifiable function, namely that one part or one constituent must have a function in the structure. Okay? So let's take a look at the structure. We call it hierarchical structure of a bicycle. Okay? So take a look at this structure. You think about a structure of a bicycle. Okay? Gab, you can buy. Can you bike? Do you bike? Do you have a bicycle?
I do. So.
Who do biking here?
I do have bicycle, but I rarely bike.
Yeah, but you know the structure. You have seen a bicycle, right? Yeah, I assume that everybody has seen a bicycle. Let's assume that a bicycle has a structure, okay? So we have a structure on the left and on the right. Which one you think will represent the structure of a bicycle in the terms of the hierarchy, right? So whether bicycle consists of parts, wheel, spoke, and then we place on the same level, like one here on the left, or we have bicycle that consists of wheel, where the wheel itself consists of some spokes. So in terms of the hierarchy, which one is good? Anybody? What about you, Sakti?
Yeah.
In terms of this hierarchy of the structure of a bike, which one represents better?
The right one.
This one, right? Yeah, there you go. That's right. In terms of the structure, the right one, this one, is more representing than the one here, right? So, yeah, this one. Yeah, so this is supposed to be the hierarchy of a structure of a bicycle, right? So we have to consider that spokes, not immediately the parts of the bicycle, but spokes are parts of wheel of the bicycle. Yeah. So we call this hierarchy. In syntax, we will see sentences and phrases just like this, hierarchy of the structure of sentences or phrases. Does it make sense, Chia?
Yes, it does, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, if it makes sense to you, then we can continue, okay, in terms of the hierarchy structure of a sentence, just like hierarchy structure of anything, of bicycle, for example, yeah? So let's continue. Now we have words, right, that in your semantics, it has meanings, right? Take a look at one. And what is the relationship between the words there? One A, one B, one C, D, and E. Dogs pedal, okay? Max carved. Pigs fly. Empires decline. Martha retaliated. Han, can you explain to me these five utterances, let's say? Is there any structure or relationship between the two? Between the two words of each?
Subject and predicate, sir.
Say again, kita?
Subject and predicate.
Exactly.
The word in the front is the subject and the word after is the predicate.
Exactly. Yeah. So in 1A, B, C, D, and E, so they have shared something in common, that there are there is one subject and there is one predicate, right? Dogs paddle. So the subject is dogs and paddle is the predicate. So predicate tells what the subject does. Okay? Mike's cough, pigs fly, empires decline, Martha retaliated. So the structure will look like this, where it is a sentence. In any sentence, there must be a subject and also a predicate. Yeah? But when we look at number two, like this one, can also, do you have the same relationship between subject and predicate? Yeah, Hania?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell
It is
more?
still the same. Yes, it is still the same like relationship, subject and predicate. However, inside those subject and predicates, there are other parts inside of those. Yeah, inside of subject and predicate, like the hierarchical structure that you've explained before.
Okay, so how about number two? What is the subject or what is or what are the predicates?
For number two, the subject are the ducks, both words. The ducks is count as a subject, and then are paddling away is the predicate.
Exactly. So the dogs consist not only one word, but there are two words, the dogs, unlike those in one, right? Those in one only have one word as a subject, but now there are more than one. Number three, for example, those gigantic dogs is also functioning, the three words functions as the subject of the sentence, let's say, and then those coming were paddling away furiously are the predicate because it tells what the subject does. Yeah. And number four as well, the mouth-watering ducks on the table is also the subject of won't be paddling away. So what we can learn from here, just like the subject and predicate, not only one and one word relationship, but phrase to phrase relationship, right? So what kind of phrase is it? Is the subject here?
Noun phrase.
Exactly. Yeah, great, Gita. And why we call it noun? Why we call it a noun phrase?
Because the head is a noun.
Yeah, exactly. Because the head is a noun. What is a head? Is thing that it refers to, right? The dogs is dealing with dogs. We know now dogs is a noun, right? And number 3L as well, the head is dogs, while gigantic and those are modifying, right? So in number 4, the mouth-watering ducks on the table, the head is, Chia, can you guess? Number 4?
Ducks, sir.
Exactly, right? So that's why the head is a noun. We call it noun phrase, right? So any subject must be a noun phrase, while any predicates must be a phrase. We will discuss more about phrase later. Okay. So in a simple structure, we will look a structure of 2, 3, and 4, just like this one, just similar with the previous one. Dogs paddle. Dogs is the subject. All right. And paddle is the predicate, while subject is noun phrase. Okay. The predicate is phrase. Yeah, here. Let me just delete it. Okay. Here, the same goes, right? So the subject is noun phrase. It consists more than one word, right? And VP, it consists also on one word. So what we can learn from example 1, 2, 3, and 4 is that there is a relationship in sentence between a subject and predicate, and the subject can consist only one word or more that we call it as a noun phrase. Okay, noun phrase. While the phrase is the predicate, it's telling about what the subject deal with or does. Yeah. So far, any question, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Let's continue then. So as we have seen before, we are dealing with the hierarchy of a structure, right? So in here, the sentence, the pianist has rejected the theropodist, right? So the structure will look like this. Subject consists of noun phrase, where noun phrase is the pianist, okay? This is the subject. And the phrase that consists of has rejected. And inside the VP is the theropodist. Anybody can tell what is the relationship between rejected and the theropodist? Apa hubungan antara rejected and the theropodist? If the pianist is the subject, the verb is rejected, what is the theropodist?
The direct object, sir.
Exactly. Yeah, the direct object, right? Because you cannot have the verb like rejected stands alone without an object. So it means that the theropodist has to appear within the phrase, right? So the subject is here in NP, and the phrase consists of both the verb and the object. Yeah. So we will see that more later or in the next meeting. Okay. So in terms of the structure, let's read this. The subject of a sentence is the NP that is immediately dominated by S. So it means just like a bicycle. So it has two wheels, right? And the wheel has spokes. A sentence also must have a noun phrase and VP. And then we see in the hierarchy that NP, this one, NP. Okay, this is a summary, guys. So Gabby, can you read our summary here?
Right. Assuming I'm audible. Summary. Subject predicate. The functional relation between the immediate constituent of sentences, i.e. NP and VP, which is noun phrase and verb phrase sentences. It's a mutual two-way dependency, i.e. subject and the predicate are both obligatory.
Yeah.
As subject precede P.
Yeah. Okay. So whenever you have a subject predicate, it's a sentence. In other words, a sentence always consists of a subject and a predicate, right? And then, so the structure you remember, it will look like this one, right? Like this one. You have subject, yeah, and you have NP, and then you have, what is it here? PP, right? So whenever you have a subject, it must be NP and VP, and this is called a sentence, yeah? And it's always two-way relationship. Whenever there is a non-phrase subject, there must be a phrase. Okay. How about number 2? Tia, can you read modifier had? Okay, so here we go. Yeah, so we are now on page 38, 39. Let's do exercise 2 and 2 through to 6. I think we don't have time to do all the exercise together, but for just exercise on class, let's do exercise 4, okay? A young car salesman and second-hand car salesman draw phrase markers for the following phrases. Okay, let me copy paste it.
Salesman.
Exactly. So this is the hat, right? So we mark it red. And what is the modifier?
Young.
Yeah?
The modifier is young.
And what yang modifies?
Young modifies both car salesman, I believe.
Okay, so what car modifies then?
Car modifies the salesman.
Okay, so let's make the phrase markers, okay? Let me draw. So it will go like this, where car is the M modifier, all right? And salesman is the head, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And what is yang? The relationship between yang and car salesman.
Young modifies both car salesman, the noun phrase car salesman.
So it means that car salesman is the head and yang is the modifier. And it goes
Yes.
like this.
Yes, it's like
Okay,
that.
very good. Do you have any reading? Do you have any different interpretation other than this? So this means that car salesman is modified by yang. Is it possible that yang modifies car?
I think, yeah, possible, but
Hmm?
when we're talking about the meaning, I guess not really. I don't know. It just feels weird to say young car.
Yeah, but it's weird, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
young car salesman. So salesman that sells young car, but it's not really appropriate in English to say young car. Okay. So it's the best reading, it's the best interpretation, right? How about second car salesman? Anybody can draw the phrase structure?
The car, salesman and car.
So salesman is the head, right? And what is the modifier? What is the relationship between second hand and car?
Second-hand modifies car.
Exactly, right? So you have car as the head and second hand as the modifier, right? And what's the relationship between second hand car and salesman, right? That second hand car modifies salesman,
Salesman.
right? So this is the modifier and this is the head, right? Yeah, something like that. Is that clear, Gabriel? Do you see the differences between young car salesman and second-hand car salesman?
Yes, very clear, sir.
Yeah, the difference is that car here is modified by second hand. By here, car is modifying salesman, right? That's the difference, okay? And young modifies both car salesman, but here second-hand car modifies just salesman. Yeah, so that's the interpretation and also the structure of the two phrases.
No, sir. All good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. If there is no questions, then please go to our book, textbook page 38 to 39. Please do exercise 2, 3, 4 we have done together, and then 5 and 6, right? Try to understand the instructions very carefully, and you may discuss among yourself, right? If you have any difficulties in understanding the instructions or the questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Okay, so please upload your work in the LMS, okay? And then see you again next week. Demikianlah gambaran perkuliahan mata kuliah Syntax dengan mode daring. Semoga berguna dan dapat memberi inspirasi. Terima kasih dan sampai jumpa. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tuhan memberkati kita semua. Amin. Terima kasih.